Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we'll check in with the Public Works Department. My guest today is Tracy Warner, Municipal Engineer for the City of Ames Public Works. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, you always have a lot on your plate, but one thing that we've been following for quite some time now is the Sanitary Sewer study. Let's give our viewers sort of an overview of what the Sanitary Sewer study is and what you hope to accomplish.
Well, in the spring of 2012, we started with hiring an engineering consultant, and so we've been working with Veenster and Kim, V&K. You may have seen the trucks around or their bright yellow shirts. And what they've been doing is smoke testing and televising the sewer and doing manhole inspections.
Tell us about the smoke testing, because that's very visible.
It is, and actually, fortunately, with the dry weather, they were able to get quite a bit of smoke testing done. So what they do is put up a blower on a manhole, and then they pump liquid gas into it, liquid smoke into it.
Which is completely harmless.
It is completely harmless, and it comes out of any defects that we have in the sewer or any of the structures such as the manholes.
So how do you know, where would you see smoke coming where it shouldn't be?
Well, if your sump pump is directly connected to the sanitary sewer, you may have had smoke or will have smoke when we complete the test up through your sump pump through the pit.
So as you blow this liquid smoke through the system, it goes into the residences through the connection, and you may see signs of smoke where you shouldn't.
Right. If the plumbing is all correct and there's no defects and the traps are filled with the water, then they won't even see any. So it's just if they have some plumbing defects or need to work with their sump pump being connected directly.
And as they're doing these testing, are they informing residents that, hey, we noticed smoke coming where it shouldn't be coming, you might want to get that checked?
Well, what they do is they are right out there in the street, so residents can, if they have smoke, go out, notify them, and they're making documentation of it, just a note so we know where some of this infiltration and inflow is coming into. And then ultimately, it'll be a city council decision whether we end up with a footing drain grant program like we did before, which was disconnecting the sump pumps from the sanitary sewer and connecting into the storm sewer system. So it'll all depend at the end of the study what we end up finding.
So this testing, sort of this study, it's looking at the entire city system?
It is. We have 16 watersheds of sanitary sewer, and it's ultimately everything flows down to the wastewater treatment plant south of town. Okay.
And it's going to take more than just this year to get this done.
It is. We're estimating to lead into probably 2014 by the time we end up with the final report, given that we finally get some rain and some wet weather so that we can finish some aspects of the study.
Yeah, explain again why the dry weather has been a little bit of an issue.
Well, dry weather, there's certain activities that we can take advantage of the dry weather, such as some of the televising, some of the smoke testing. The ground needs to be dry in order for the liquid smoke to come out of the ground, and then we can continue to do our manhole inspections. But with the wet weather, really what we're looking for is inflow, so that's rainwater or snow melt.
That shouldn't be there.
Right, and so we have flow meters in the sanitary sewer system, but we aren't having the rain, so we're not able to quantify that amount yet.
And this study continues even though it's winter, and even though maybe it's not quite as visible, people probably saw the trucks more when they were outside more.
Right.
But you're still continuing.
Yes. With the snow on the ground, we won't be doing the smoke testing, but they will still be doing some of the televising and some of the manhole inspections. And then what we'll do is really focus on some of the siphons that go where the pipes flow under the river or under the creeks, and some of the railroad crossings, again, where they go deeper under the railroads. We'll also continue the public outreach and talking to everybody.
So we've gotten some results from the study so far, so some preliminary kind of information.
We have. Basically, we're approximately 40% through the system, and they rate each pipe and each structure with a 1 through 5 rating. So a rating of 5 means that the recommendation is we need to fix it structurally within 12 months. So basically they've found a void in a pipe and potentially can see the soil around it, or there is a void around there, section of pipe that has washed out or collapsed. And then structure rating 4, right below that, is one that they say you need to fix within 5 years. And when we did a cost estimate, a very rough estimate of that 40%, we're looking at it just for ratings 4 and 5 of $6.9 million.
So any kind of solution will probably take place over several years, a multi-year kind of project.
Right. Obviously, city staff and the city council's aware of not wanting to increase the sewer rates too much to fix that, but at the same time, structurally, we need to take care of our infrastructure. So we'll be going to council and talking to them about different options, but it will be a multi-year fix.
So the infrastructure around Ames has got to be a variety of ages old.
It is.
So what's the range?
Oh, we actually have some sewer from the early 1900s still in operating condition. Those, I think, are in Campus Town, and then it goes everything from some sewer that just got replaced with a recent road project that we recognized that it needed to be replaced, and so we went ahead while we had the pavement out and we replaced it last year.
And what kind of materials do we see most of this infrastructure being constructed of?
Well, we have some that are clay, and then we have some that are a truss pipe, and then plastic.
And is that the modern one then? It would be the plastic infrastructure?
Yeah, or the truss is good in industrial areas or things that are going to see different chemicals to withstand that. Some of the concrete structures, if there's more acidic flows, then it's going to eat away at the concrete. And so that truss pipe withstands it, or a clay pipe.
So this is probably not something people think about a lot, but sort of the infrastructure, all that stuff under the roads and in the public rights-of-way is really, really important.
It is. And, sometimes when you do a study like this, you end up finding kind of more than you anticipated. But also, a lot of the time, residents don't even think about it until all of a sudden their toilet backs up or something happens that they can't use their system. And so, yeah, out of sight, out of mind some of the time.
When's the last time the city undertook a study like this?
Well, in 2008, we did a sewer study, but it was a hydraulic analysis. And again, it was a dry year by the time, actually, it was 2006 and 2007, so prior to the floods of 2008. And so we didn't get that flow monitoring in. And so it seems like somehow when we go to do these studies, we seem to turn off the faucet to the sky. But hopefully the rain will come in moderation and we can get some good flow information next year. The snow that we have now will help when it melts, and that'll help give some quantification as well.
So on an ongoing study, I'm sure we'll check in with you through the next coming months to see how we're going. Just in general, some other things that you have going on in your area. Yeah,
so for the season, kind of our construction of roadways has wrapped up. We're working a lot on getting some design projects out for bid, and this is a really busy time to get contractors lined up for work starting in the spring right away when the ground thaws.
So you just wrap up the season and then you're already planning those projects for the spring, so there really isn't a downtime.
No, we don't really have a downtime. We have a design team and then we have a construction inspection team, and so there's a lot of overlap to make sure that we do a team approach in reviewing the design plans, and so we can make sure that we have the best plans out there for the contractors. And we have 2 roads that were under construction this year, but they didn't get quite complete because of the cold weather. So construction will continue on Douglas Avenue and Ridgewood in the spring once the weather thaws. In the spring also, that's already under contract, is South Oak, which is on the west side of the DOT, south of Lincoln Way. And so that will be another one that people will see right away. Next summer, we'll have a couple projects on Lincoln Way, including a new traffic signal at the intersection of Lincoln Way and Dotson. We'll be adding turn lanes in there, so that'll be a new traffic signal near that West High
Ames people, they'll certainly notice that difference.
Yeah. So.
Well, one final thing I wanted to ask about, because I know it's of personal interest, is how's our rain garden rain barrel program coming? Once spring comes around, that's really sort of the time, right?
It is. We've had really good interest in our rain barrel program. Not as much interest in the rain gardens, but we're still really promoting those. It's an ideal time in the spring to be installing those, and then you can get native plants established throughout the next year before we have more snow next year.
So maybe January and February, people might want to start thinking about how they could maybe turn a section of their property into a rain garden.
That would be great. We would love to see more in the community.
And information on our website about that, about the rebates and the rain barrel rebate as well. So.
Absolutely.
So Tracy, we'll have to have you back in the spring, and maybe you can show us some completed rain gardens that we have around town, because they're certainly popping up.
Yeah, that would be great. We would love to show those.
Well, thank you for stopping.
Thanks, Susan.
Well, in addition to the sanitary sewer study, we also have a flood mitigation study going on, and if you haven't been able to make it to the input sessions, you can give us your comments on the website by going to cityofames.org and looking for In the Spotlight Ames Flood Mitigation Study. Also, we have some other public meetings coming up. For a community development block grant, we're seeking public input on future planning. You can get information on those meetings, which will be January 7th through the 9th, on our website as well. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.